The party narrowly shirked death at the hands of the fire gaunt in the basement cellar of the shisha bar in the city of Brass, where they now have a lead that their Friday Namnu is hidden in a smoke-spewing forge nearby. The party scout out the quote-unquote smelting pot forge and finds access to the main workspace through a ventilation shaft. The party peeks through an opening in the vent to see a workspace in an empty bar, a single giant figure heavily clad in armor, and a massive pot of molten metal. They make their way down via rope and now stand in the empty hallway. The giant figure grabs his hammer and raises it in the air, shouting, "Pour!" There's a deafening silence, when suddenly the vat of molten metal pours down over the figure. The party's ecstatic until they realize the figure isn't injured. Instead, the figure is invigorated. It taps a rune on its hammer and shouts, "Magma Wave!" When suddenly the molten metal on the ground rises into a tsunami approaching the party. They all make deck saves, but they're locked in place by the cooling metal. "Now," says the giant, "let's show these folks a city of brass welcoming." Today's video is on the Fire Giant Forgecaller. First, let's go into what Bigby tells us. Well, Fire Giant Forgecallers are fire giants empowered by runic magic, which allows them to channel and conjure raw elemental energy, such as fire or magma. Forgecallers play an important role in Fire Giant society, often overseeing forges or the defense of Fire Giant settlements. Some Forgecallers prefer to live in isolation, seeking out the hottest fire in the heart of a volcano or locations on the elemental plane of fire to pursue research, craft, study. The Forgecallers are clad head to toe in plate armor, which has flames and smoke billowing out of all the cracks and joints. Let's talk about the mechanics. Fire Giant Forgecallers are huge giants listed as clerics. The book says they can be any alignment, but to me, lawful evil makes sense, as they are said to worship the god Surtur, S-U-R-T-U-R, who is lawful evil. Compared to regular fire giants, they have the same armor, but massively improved HP. To me, the head-to-toe clad Forgecaller should have a higher AC, but that's a minor gripe. The Forgecaller also has an interesting fly ability, where it can jet magical fire out of its legs to propel itself. The Forgecaller also has higher mental stats compared to the fire giant, but similar physical stats. The Forgecaller has a legendary resistance, 3 times per day, which is a nice touch, signifying this is an endgame boss monster. If the CR18 wasn't already a big hint that this is an endgame boss monster. The key quirk to this monster is the fire rune it has inscribed on a possession. The rune grants the Forgecaller the ability to use its magma wave, which is like a dragon's breath weapon, damaging and restraining creatures, as an action. It also gives it a bonus action called Furnace Armor. The Furnace Armor produces smoke to give the Forgecaller half cover in a 30-foot radius around itself. Now, notably, the Magma Wave doesn't have a recharge, like a Dragon's Breath, so this could hypothetically be spammed by power-mad DMs until the rune is destroyed. The giant has flame-imbued magic attacks, melee attacks, as well as a ranged heated rock attack. Now, the ranged option is again limited by a D6 roll. On a 3 or lower, the giant runs out of ammunition. This mechanic is new to this book, and I've hopefully made it clear I don't like it. Just assume infinite ammo or give a specified ammo limit. There's no real need to add dice rolls to ammo, it just doesn't really make sense. Overall, I would say my favorite ability of the Forgecaller is its fire AoE that it can do with its melee attack. It does a 30-foot radius sphere, and it functions kind of like an upcast heat metal, cast on all metal objects in range. This means those armor-clad paladins will have their armor searing their flesh off. Very flavorful. So in conclusion, this monster is the stat block I would use for a fire or forge-based demigod, or something similar in power level. The creature has plenty of options, from its magma wave to its AoE melee option. My only real gripe is that the creature is listed as a cleric, presumably a forge domain. It could be nice to see some spells like Wall of Fire for more battlefield control, but really this monster has enough abilities without it, and I understand from a game design perspective not wanting to bloat the monster with even more abilities. I really have nothing negative to say, other than say how location specific the monster is. But if you have a big boss in the city of Brass or the heart of a volcano, choose this monster. I give it an 18 out of 20.